upset me because I'm plugged into this NFL. I watch people. Oh, cocky. I don't hear nobody getting blamed. Everybody was equally pathetic.
All right, everyone. Sorry about that. I don't know. Sometimes when you're just dealing with technical stuff, it just takes a mind of its own. And this morning, the YouTube just took a mind of its own. So let me start getting everything out. Jeez. Sweating a little bit from that too. Let me send this thing out. Share. A whole 20 minutes late. A whole 20 minutes late. Wow. And let me send it to Facebook. Okay. Whew. That was tough. Now I'll just wait till y'all guys get here. I'm so sorry about that. Really am. Sometimes that's all you can do. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna initially talk a little bit about Romo while I wait for people to come in. But we're just gonna take a little time, say a few things about Romo, a few things about Ware's comment, and just put the whole Romo thing to bed because there's nothing we can do about it right now. But move on. But keep on moving on. All right, here's 12 new comments. Woo! See me and hear me. Good job. Good thing. And I don't even have my beats on today to hear my thing. But thanks guys for hanging in there with me. I'm sorry about the technical issues, but sometimes you just gotta deal with it. All right, Tony Romo. DeMarcus Ware said put up or shut up this week, and I saw the comments and I heard people that actually heard him say it that it looked like a little leadership from DeMarcus Ware a little bit. It seemed like to me, but some people said it didn't sound like leadership or whatnot. But I think he's feeling it. I think the older guys, the people that are in the window that is kind of closing, they're kind of feeling it right now. They know that they need to do it within the next couple years, because if they don't do it then their chance of ever getting to the Super Bowl and ever winning a Super Bowl is almost done. So right now with that contract, yeah, I know he was asked a question about Romo, but I think he was addressing the entire team and Romo. The First Take and a lot of TV, they took that comment and they ran with it, and they try to make some stories because there's not many stories out right now. But I just don't think it was as big of a story as the mainstream media tried to make it out to be. I don't. I think it was just Ware saying it's time for them to make the playoffs and get something done in Dallas. Everybody's getting paid. He's getting paid. Wynn's getting paid. Romo's getting paid. Everybody's getting a check from Jerry. Jerry's doing his job, financially. So it's up to them as players to get the job done, and that's all I've see out of that situation. So I'm just gonna do something very symbolic, and I'm gonna turn this hat to the back. This means that this is all I can do. And this is all you can do is support the guy that does interviews with his hat to the back. That's all we can do right now. All right, Daniel, let me say what's up to everybody since you're showing up now. What's up, NJTK1000? What's up, Midnight Cat 26? What's up, Tom D? Cut X Boy. What's up, Freddie Leggett? How's it going? Keith, what's up? No Miss 0408. How you doing? Daniel, thanks for always showing up, my man. Thanks for always showing up. So Tyler, we have no choice, Tyler. We have to. We have no choice but to put everything behind Tony Romo right now. I know it feels a little funny, especially for me, because I was Tony Romo's #1 fan at one point. When he was supposed to take over for Bledsoe, I was pushing it. I had a Romo watching on my show going, Romo's got to get in there. We need Romo because he's mobile. Bledsoe's nothing but a statue back there trying to throw the ball. But Romo, that's what we need because we need that guy. So I pushed him in there, and then I fell off his bandwagon hard like 2 years ago. And I used to talk a lot of junk about Tony Romo 2 years ago. And the Dallas Cowboy fan base almost destroyed me. I mean, they were getting so mad at me for saying bad things about Tony Romo. Don't say bad things about Tony. And then you throw stats at me all like crazy. So I'm done with that. In the last 2 years, I really hadn't said anything bad about Tony Romo. I understand his issues. I understand his strengths. I know what we have at quarterback. So from here on, from moving forward, we have to take what we know that Tony Romo will give us, and we have to move on as a team and try to get this done. That's all we can do. I mean, 2 years. What's up, Terrence? What's up, Huggy Pacino? All right, now, Romo, he's got money. Mickey Spagnola did... Where's that at? Hold on. Mickey Spagnola did an article. There it is. Inside Romo's contract. He kind of insured us. One of my fears. He kind of insured us. You can go to DallasCowboys.com and check that out. But he kind of insured us in that article that Romo was not going to be a liability if he has to get cut after 3 years or something like that. So that was one of my fears. Mickey Spagnola says it's going to be okay. Do I trust Mickey totally? No, because Mickey is going on, and what's in this article? Mickey is going on the current numbers in Tony Romo's contract. But if you go, and I promise you, I'm not going to overthecap.com this week at all. But if you look at his contract, it's going to be, and look at our cap space for next year, it's like begging to be restructured. And if it's restructured, we're going to be pushing more money to the end of his contract, which then it may end up hurting us pretty bad. So he assured us everything's going to be all right. We know what we have in Tony Romo. We just have to put that baby to rest and move on. Now, moving on, the next thing is the NFL football draft. Now let me start with what we need. Now, what's up? Oh, you're in Ireland, Tom D? Thank you, man. Thank you for tuning in. I think it's a little bit better time over there than it is out here in the West Coast. It's real early, but everybody's talking about what we need in the draft, and I know we need offensive linemen, interior offensive linemen for sure. We need defensive linemen for sure, definitely, and we need safeties. We definitely need safeties, and those are the major holes on our team. But let me go through our key losses this year, and I think I have it somewhere on here. I think it's just on a regular notepad. But there it is. Player losses. Let me slide it over to the big one. Okay, and I have it here also. All right, these are the player losses. Let's see if I can make it big. These are the player losses for this year, and I'm gonna go down the list, and these are the players that we're gonna basically have to replace. Now, a lot of them we didn't like. A lot of them didn't play up to their potential in our opinions, but we do have to replace them with a talented player. We can't just go out and get an undrafted free agent to fill all these spots. I mean, that's kind of asking for a lot. So we have Gerald Sensabaugh, starter, not that great, didn't generate turnovers or whatever, but solid to under solid stock starter. Felix Jones. Felix was one of my favorite players. I had a problem with Felix because Felix came in out of shape, and we don't know. I don't know if he's in shape right now or whatnot. What's going on with him? But if he's a free agent. He needs to be really in shape because that's his money. But we might look into getting Felix back, or if not, we're gonna have to replace Felix somehow. Next, we have Josh Brent. We know his situation. He's not gonna be back. We lost a potential defensive lineman that could work well in this 4-3, and I doubt he'll be coming back. Victor Butler is gone. We have to replace him. We could have used him on to back up defensive line because of Ware and Spencer. Not having to pull full duty there. We lost Kenyon Coleman. He could also went inside, but I think Kenyon Coleman is definitely more of your prototypical 3-4 defensive end. So I think he had to move on to somewhere where he can play, and I think he's in New Orleans where he can play that 3-4. And all that the same thing goes with Marcus Spears. I think Marcus Spears could have played defensive tackle for us, but he is a prototypical 3-4 defensive end, and he's in Baltimore where he can still play that position. So we lost those guys. Dan Connor, we lost Dan Connor. I don't think he's slower than Justin Durant, but I think Dan Connor's a better linebacker than Justin Durant. So we'll see how much better Durant does than Dan Connor. Mike Jenkins, we don't really. Scandrick's our third corner. I kind of like Scandrick, but we know what Scandrick brings to this football team because we've had him a while, and we remember the Atlanta game and things of that sort. So I know you have your personal opinions about Scandrick, and he's a little shaky, to be honest. Then we have Kevin Ogletree. Kevin Ogletree, fell off the map last year. I mean, he basically won the Giants game for us, but then he fell off the map right after that. So we have to replace him. Not a biggie, but still we're going to have a talented person. Hopefully it's Danny Cole or someone to fill that position. And then also John Phillips. We're going to need another big, strong tight end probably to be our third tight end. I love what Hannah's done, and I love Hannah moving forward. All right, now there's 2 question marks on the team. There's Lawrence Vickers. Vickers is making, I think, $1.2 million this year. We don't know if they're going to keep him or not. I say that's kind of a high price. However, we don't want to go back to where we didn't have a fullback, because when we didn't have a fullback, when we just put anybody out there in fullback, he missed the block and Tony Romo got killed. So we really don't want that to happen again. maybe we'll bring Vickers back. Hopefully, I think I kind of want him back because I like his attitude. Doug Free's another question mark. He's making a lot of money. I don't know what we're gonna do with that contract. He's got to resign or take a pay cut or something. Something's got to happen with Doug Free. We cannot go into the season and we haven't touched Doug Free's contract at all. That'll be ridiculous to me. Then we have some injury-prone type players. We have Miles Austin, hammies. We have Bruce Carter. He gets hurt. We can't. We're gonna need somebody behind him. Barry Church. We don't know how good he's gonna be coming off that ACL injury. Matt Johnson. We still don't know what he still hadn't got out there on the field yet in actual playing time because of injuries. Sean Lee. I hated putting Sean Lee on this list because he's my favorite player. But Sean Lee, he gets hurt a lot. Then we have DeMarco Murray, also hadn't been through a season. Jay Ratliff, and then DeMarcus Ware and his shoulder, which really worries me. So, in looking at that list, and looking at all those names on that list, we're gonna go into the draft. And we're going to have to be very smart and very accurate in replacing some of these players that are gone, as well as getting some viable backups for these other guys that have not typically given us a full year. So that's what we're looking for in a draft. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. Let me go to the questions, and I'm gonna go through the draft picks and what I want to do in the draft. All right. Rarely even said his Bucks got Kevin Ogletree. What we tell we didn't like Kevin Ogletree that much in Dallas. I mean, he got a legitimate shot, a legitimate look, and he just didn't pan out. And everyone else, you can chime in on what Rarely even wants to know. But we're not crying because Kevin Ogletree is gone, and mainly because of the emergence of Dwayne Harris, one of my favorite players. I'll get more into Dwayne Harris a little bit later, but I'm a big fan of Dwayne Harris, and I think he's making us kind of forget about Kevin Ogletree and let Kevin Ogletree just go on his merry little way. What's up, Keith Hideko? Keith Hideko. He says, Romo can make all the throws in my eyes. All we have to do is protect the guy. 2 offensive linemen minimum in draft. Yeah, you're right. All quarterbacks melt under pressure, sans Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. But Peyton, Breeze, Brady, all of them, you get pressure on them, they melt. In Romo, there's a lot of pressure on him, so it's hard for him to perform in that world. So the only thing that I don't want us to get into is to just focus, because that's what we tend to do in Dallas Cowboy world. We tend to focus on one thing and say, oh, we fix this and give Tony Romo time, we'll win it all. Because there's a defensive side of the football. And the defense was not that good last year. And I know a lot of people are hoping this new scheme will be better, but there's also a good chance that this new scheme will not be better because it's new. When we brought Rob Ryan's 3-4 in, it was not working just quite yet until we got all the players knowing the system and things of that sort. So we're gonna have to make sure we take care of the defensive side of the ball with our safeties, with the defensive line, with the linebackers, with the backup linebackers and things of that sort, because we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we were last year when we had to go around and find players to play positions on our defense, just to get us by. So, yes, we need the offensive line, but somehow we need to get some kind of defense in there also. Brian Buckaloo says O-line. I agree, homie. Daniel Cangeiter wants Kenny Vaccaro, and I'm trying to get with Kenny Vaccaro, guys. I'm looking at his tapes. I'm looking at him. I saw his sports science the other day, and that really was impressive because he's a real impressive athlete. And if he has the instincts with that athletic ability, because he's not real fast, but he can jump, he can stretch out his arms, he's got long arms and all that kind of stuff. So he's a nice specimen to have out there at safety. The only thing that worries me is his speed. However, if he has top-notch instincts, and we won't know that until he hits the actual football field. If he has top-notch instincts, then he'll be awesome. My favorite guy in safety from watching the combine of the little bit I saw was Matt Elam. I love Matt Elam. Midnight Cat 26 also says we gotta have Kenny Vaccaro. NJTK 1000 Shango, do we draft safety even though we signed a safety and free agent? Yes. Will Allen has zero interceptions, I think, in the last 7 years. Will Allen is a stopgap. Will Allen will be a coach slash player out there on the football field. Will Allen will take what Monty Kiffin has taught him already, and he will be a player coach in that secondary to help Matt Johnson and help Barry Church. I think Will Allen is very secure in his skin, because I don't know if you saw his interview on NFL Network, but I saw his interview and I was listening to him talking. He's a very articulate young man, and he was talking about the toughness that he wants to bring to Dallas and all the things like that. And I was like, wow, this. And he said he wants to be a leader on the football team. So a lot of things really impressed me about Will Allen. But Will Allen, he's not disillusioned that he's going to come to Dallas and be, this all, Ed Reed 2.0. Because when he was talking about Ryan Clark, he was just like glowing on how great Ryan Clark was. And then when he started talking about Troy Polamalu, he was like, there's no way I can do the stuff that Troy Polamalu does out there in the football field. You know what I'm saying? So he's very level-headed. I really like the guy, and I really like their acquisitions for more reasons than what he does on the football field. But yes, we're gonna have to get another safety in, because we're not sure what Matt Johnson is. We're not sure how well Barry Church is going to recover from this injury, and we really, honestly, if we really don't know how good he is right now, Barry Church is right now, because we need to see him in live action for a few games over and over and over. If he's a lot better, because we know how good McCray was. If he's a lot better than McCray, or just a little bit better than McCray, is he going to learn this new defense fast? Like he learned. So there's a lot of things going on with Barry Church. So I think we definitely have to go safety pretty early. All right. Terrence Cartwright says, do not use a first round pick on Vaccaro. Please draft offensive line. I agree. And I totally agree. And I'm going to get into what I think we should do. As soon as I finish the comments here, I'm going to get into what I think we should do in the first round. It's a scary proposition, though. Very scary, knowing Jerry Jones. Daniel said he has more faith in Doug Free than he does Matt Johnson. Wow. I just don't know. I mean, I was out there in training camp all summer, and all I saw was him backing up with the rope, with the tension rope thing. That's all I got to see, and I got to see him move. I like his size. He's pretty good size guy. So, I just don't know what we have in Matt Johnson. What's up, Big Daddy Win? What's up, Shango? We need a burner at receiver. Also, Dez is a young Mike Irvin, I hope. I was telling this to somebody the other day. I think Dez is the only bona fide, real-time superstar that we have, undeniable superstar that we have on this team. And I think Dez is going to keep on going up. The only thing that I think could stop Dez right now is something off the field, if he does something crazy or something like that. So I'm fully behind Dez Bryant right now. I'm wishing the best, and him and Dwayne Harris make me smile. They really do. I really like both of those players. Huggy Pacino says, zoom. Is this a defense draft? Will we go any offense like O-line? That's from Catch Up 2011. Let me make myself big here. Last year, and I saw somebody say this on I can't remember who, but last year in the draft, Rob Ryan got everything he really wanted. He most certainly did. He got everything he wanted, and he got his corner. He got his other corner in free agents. In free agency, we spent a lot of money on it. He got a lot of draft picks for his style defense, and we scrapped his defense, which is another thing. But we went a lot defense last year. So this year, I think we need to shore up the offensive side of the ball somehow, and still get these things on defense that we need. So it's going to be very interesting on where we go in the draft and what's going to happen in the future. Midnight Cat says Felix broke my heart. Felix broke my heart too, man. Felix broke my heart. I'm sorry. I was huge fan of his. Daniel Canguider says, I honestly don't understand how we cut Gerald. Skandrick has been a huge bust. Yeah, Skandrick is. You know what I think? Skandrick is a defensive version of like Tony Romo. I think his upside is huge, and he makes some real impressive plays. And he'll look very good sometimes. But then other times, it seems like maybe it's a mental mistake or something that he makes. And he would get the Cowboy fan base mad at him. So right now, we just don't know, what we can count on with Skandrick. But Skandrick is going to be our nickel corner. He's going to be our third corner. And hopefully maybe Sterling Moore can outplay him. We do have an option there, and we do have somebody that played good last year that could slide up in front of Skandrick. But right now, Skandrick is the guy. Felix came in fat. Yes, he did. Space Boogie TV one. Tyler Boykin says, don't take Kenny Vaccaro, please, Jerry. I'm kind of with you, Tyler. I'm kind of with you. Nothing with Vaccaro has stuck out, really. I'm going to look deeper. Keith Hidako, me and Terrence are talking the same. Vaccaro is nice, but 2 mammoth guards available. That's the no-brainer. If Warmack or Cooper is there at our pick, that's the no-brainer. That's the one thing. Brian Buckalaw says, I'm scared that Jerry Jones said Romo doesn't need a dominant offensive line. That's how we were so successful in the 90s. Exactly. He forgot the formula. And they said it on, where it is? They said it on DallasCowboys.com also. Where is it at? It said it on DallasCowboys.com also. Let's go and close this thing up. We're done with that one. Go back. There we go. Nick Eatman said, and which is cool, which is perfect. He said that Jerry's line comments don't help the run game. And it was like, yeah, it was like, whoa, yeah. I mean, when we heard those comments, we instantly thought of, Tony Romo's protection and all that. Well, Tony Romo needs protection, and our argument went there. But this is a very interesting point. This is an extremely interesting point where we have Nick Eatman saying that it doesn't help the running game because our running game suffered tremendously last year. I think there was only like a couple of games. The Ravens game, we looked incredible. But then the running game, Tony Romo needs the running game support. So if we don't invest in the offensive line, we can't run the ball, and that can't help Romo either. So I don't know. This offense doesn't seem very Romo friendly to me. With no offensive line and no run game. That doesn't seem quarterback friendly at all. All right. Wow, 31 comments. Woo. Can Jeter. Daniel Can Jeter. Okay. All right. I hope I remember, man. Don't get mad at me. Do not get mad at me. All right. RBD Tito for life. Chance Romack and Jonathan Cooper. If they are gone, then Vaccaro. If they are gone, then maybe trade back. A lot of good players in the second round. Kyle, what's up? Shango, what's up? Daniel says Dez won't do anything stupid. Yeah, I hope he doesn't. It feels right with Dez right now. The way he turned the corner during the season. It feels right now. The next thing we have to worry about is when he gets a lot of success. When he gets a lot of success, and he starts getting treated like a superstar from everyone, not just the Cowboys, the Dallas area, then we'll see if anything else happens. But right now, everything just feels good with Dez Bryant. It really does. Huggy Pacino says, I say move free to free agency and draft the right tackle. Or, there's right tackles available. There's Claybo, and there's the guy from Cincinnati who has the man boobs. But we'll see. Calvert City said, draft offensive line in all 7 rounds. Nice. 2 points. Offensive line. We must fix it. Right. All right, let me catch up with you. Let me catch up with all these guys. All right, good. Now, this is my thing with the draft. And I'm gonna go down through each position in just a minute to see, the order of importance on what we need and where. But in my opinion, if Chance Warmack, let me make myself big again. If Chance Warmack or Jonathan Cooper isn't there for us at our pick, this is scary to say. I'm scaring myself by saying it. But I honestly believe trading down is the best option. Why? Because of that list I brought up at the beginning of the show. That's a long list of players that need to be replaced, and that's a long list of players that possibly we need to have a viable backup underneath them just in case they do not come back from their injury, or they re-injure something they hurt last year, or whatever. So those questionable players. So we'll need somebody there too. So there's a lot of stuff that we need to get. But what scares me is the 2009 draft. Now, that 2009 draft, Jerry just bombed on it. Now, I don't blame Jerry very much because I don't think we didn't have a first or second round pick that year. I don't think it was third and beyond. And those guys just really, a lot of times they don't pan out. You know what I'm saying? Third round picks to 7, a lot of times they just don't make it. And in that draft, they didn't make it, or they left to go to another team. So I don't want to trade back to where we only have 3rd, 4th, and 5th and 6th, because I don't trust those guys to be able to come in and be immediate contributors to this football team. With that being said, we still need to get some talent in here somehow. So if we can move down a little bit, maybe get Matt Elam, maybe get some quality offensive linemen, maybe get some quality defensive linemen in that 1st or 2nd to 3rd round area, then maybe we can actually shore up a lot of positions than we could if we would just get Kenny Vaccaro at in the 1st round. Kenny Vaccaro and then lineman in the 2nd round. Then you really have 2. And maybe the 3rd round, 3 players that really could contribute. But look, we were waiting for Tyrone Crawford to contribute. You know what I'm saying? And now he's starting to get it, and he's starting to come across. A perfect example of this is Dwayne Harris. I forgot where he was drafted. I think it was 5th round. But Dwayne Harris, it just took him a while. It took him a minute to get acclimated to the game, acclimated to the speed of the NFL, figure out what defenses are doing, all that kind of stuff he had to figure out. And now I think he's a stud. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these guys that you get in the later rounds, you're gonna have to cultivate them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And bring up their game until they're ready to go out there. I just don't think that we can go out there and get some players and expect them to be heavy contributors right off the bump when you pick them after the 2nd and 3rd round. All right. 7 more comments. Cal Mallet says this draft is packed with great offensive linemen to pass on one in the first round. Got to take one at 18 and pass on Vaccaro. Yeah, but also it's packed on offensive linemen and defensive linemen. So maybe we can move down a little bit and get a couple of them. You know what I'm saying? Just in case one of them turned out to be an Arkin, then we have another one that could be, something else. So, it's very deep in those two positions, what works very well for us. I really like that. So that's I think trading down is a very good option if Warmack or Cooper isn't there. I just think those are the only two players worthy of being picked at 18 that we have. I see a name called Honey Badger in John G's comment. So let me talk about the Honey Badger. Is Mr. JG3 checking in with a different name? Okay, quite honestly, I'd rather get a big guy in the first round. Doesn't matter what side of the ball. Only risk if take for a defensive back would be the Honey Badger in the second round. This scheme is perfect for him and would eventually have us weed out Scandrick until we could cut him without losing for the cap. Very interesting. I mean, I watched, and I think I've told you guys this. I watched Honey Badger in the combine, and my jaw was on the ground. He, in my opinion, from the naked eye and from the untrained eye, I don't have a trained eye here, but from the untrained eye, he looked far better than those other guys, all the other guys, Milliner included. The number one corner. He looked better than him. He looked more comfortable. He looked more comfortable in his skin. He looked more comfortable with his athletic ability and a lot of things. And I just think from what I saw him when I watched him at LSU a lot, because he was one of my favorite players in college, he was just active around the ball all the time, making plays, making something happen. And we really, with the lack of turnovers we have, with the lack of playmakers we have on the defensive side of the ball, he would be huge. He would be absolutely huge. But it's just that the issues are when we talked to him, I saw him, I didn't see the latest interview. Deion Sanders just interviewed him. I'm going to watch the interview. I didn't see it yet. But I saw an interview they had on the NFL Network, and he worried me because he didn't seem convinced that he could stay out of trouble. Because he was wanting, when he gets drafted by a team, he wants the team to make sure that I don't get in trouble and things of that sort. So it was like he was a little shaky there, and that worries me because you don't want to put him and say Dez together and just expect them to be good guys or whatever. And it's not because they're bad core people. Because I don't think Dez nor the Honey Badger are bad core people. It's the people they attract. They can attract some bad seeds, And if they attract these bad seeds, and these bad seeds can get you, doing stuff in a drop of a hat, that's what kind of scares me. And then Texas being so close to LSU and Louisiana and all the Honey Badgers people that he's trying to get away from, that's a scary situation. NJTK1000 also asked if Honey Badger falls, do we take him? I like him, but there's just so many questions. There's just so many questions about him. NJTK1000 said, you're right, Shango. Dallas Cowboys website had a scenario where we traded down. It just make up sense. I won't bring up 2009 again. I'm sorry. Midnight Cat. But yeah, trading down is the best option. It seems like if no Cooper or Warmack. I saw that RVD says Dez got an endorsement deal with Jordan. He isn't trying to screw that up. Yeah, I again, Dez feels right now. It doesn't feel like Dez is going to do anything stupid. Tom D says, what about this Brit block Lawrence Okoye at defensive end. Well, I'm a little older, and I'm very partial to the name Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare. So I'm gonna look into him a lot. One of the guys that's in also a Cowboy fan. He's lives in England, and he also gave me another name of a guy who's from that area. Let me find his name. I don't have my Facebook up, but there's another offensive lineman from the UK near Manchester that I'm gonna look into also very deeply because I like those. I like to be a world's team. Let's see. Trade down with the Pats. Do not trade anything with the Pats because they will get you. I don't trust him. Midnight Cat says Eddie Lacy would look nice with the start. Yeah, I just don't think we'll have the luxury to pick a running back where he's going to be picked. I think we're going to have to get a running back in the late rounds, and I think it even says this on the DallasCowboys.com website that they will be looking for running backs in the later rounds, and I agree with that movement. Big Daddy Win says, Shango, do we sign Rolando McClain for the dirt? What do you think of Armstead? I honestly think we need more linebackers. I really do. I don't trust that Carter and Lee will give us 16 full games. Hopefully they do, because they're an awesome combination. But I don't think they're going to give us full 16 games. I am very wary of Sims and Durant just because they were Detroit Lions linebackers that didn't perform that well in Detroit. I mean, enough for the Detroit fans to really want to keep them. So that kind of worries me a little bit too. Rolando McClain would be awesome. He's a thumper. He's a hard hitter, but I really think he was cut because of salary cap purposes. I think he's going to still try to get as much money as he can, and it's going to be kind of out of our price range, especially with the other needs that we have. Terrence Cartwright, the draft is also top heavy with safeties. Exactly. Again, another reason why we could trade down, because maybe one of those. I think there's 4 top safeties in this draft. The one Reed, Vaccaro, Elam, and my man from Florida International. I keep losing his name. But one of those 4 guys may fall down to even the 3rd round, maybe, possibly. You know what I'm saying? So if we trade down or get another second and get that safety and offensive lineman in the 2nd round, then that's brilliant. I'm glad someone brings it because I'm hearing this a lot. DJ ATL Philly says, Shango, what do you think about DJ Fluker? If we were, and a lot of Cowboy fans, I've seen it on the boards and stuff like that, are saying, well, we can get Fluker in the 2nd round or Fluker later. I'm not really sold on Fluker because of us. Fluker excels in that run game. He's a road grader. We need that, but he can't pass protect that well. So it would be a liability on passing downs and a strength on running downs. The reason why that's a problem with me is because our team tends to throw the ball a whole lot. So it would put him at his weakness more than put him at his strength. You know what I'm saying? If we were a team that ran and ran and ran and ran and ran and ran until the wheels came off, then Fluker would be an ideal choice. But we're just not like that. We're going to pass. Jason Garrett's our coach. And to be honest, with Tony Romo as our quarterback, we're going to pass. I think Tony Romo needs to be a bus driver, and we need to run. He needs to throw when he needs to throw. But that's not how we do it in Dallas. We're going to throw the ball, and I don't think Fluker would be a good choice for that. Watch out for Barrett Jones from Alabama in the 2nd round. If he's there, we need to enable him with the type of guy that we need to that we need protecting Romo on the interior. Isn't Barrett Jones have injury problems? Some bad injury problems. I'm gonna look at it. I think he's a very risky pick. So I don't want any more. I don't want any more questionable injury prone players. If you except Marcus Lattimore, him I do want. But anybody else, I just don't want any injury prone players right now because we need stability. We need some people that's going to be able to play the full season and going to be able to go out there and contribute immediately. Catch up 2011. Yes, I'm going to get. He says, Shango, do you have a call-in number so we can call in and give your opinion? I'm including that. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll have Skype hooked on to this Wirecast, and I will give you the Skype number, and you can Skype in, and we can talk that way also. So yeah, that is in the plans, but week by week I'm trying to get this show better and better and better because it's a lot, guys. It's a lot. Honey is Pac-Man all over again. Well, Pac-Man is still playing. So he was just not very smart. But Pac-Man finally grew up. He finally got it. Solomon is the king, says Warmack. I agree totally. Daniel asks, am I dumb to think Dez can really get 20 touchdowns and 2,000 yards? Hashtag record watch. No, you're not dumb because he's got a quarterback that can just keep feeding him the ball, and he's got all the ability in the world. I just think if we're throwing that much, it may not be a good thing for the overall football team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at Detroit last year. They had a lot of passing, a lot of yards. Calvin had a lot of yards, but the team was, you know what I'm saying? So to me, I'd rather than these stats or whatever, I'd rather take solid football and go in there and win the football game and leave out rather than trying to get and break any records or anything like that. It's just not my focus. RVD said, watch the Game Changer show on NFL Network. I will. Definitely. Cadex Boy says, trade with the 49ers 31-34 for 18 and 47 and get an extra third round pick. That's the type of trade I'm talking about. Moving down in the first, maybe 8 to 10 spots or whatever, and hopefully picking up an extra third or moving up in a second or something like that. But something that pushes us toward the bottom of the first, top of the third area, and trying to get at least 4 picks. Trying to get at least 4 picks in the bottom of the first, beginning of the third type area. If we can pull that off, maybe 1 first, 2 seconds, and a third, or a first, a second, and 2/3, or something like that. If we can pull off 4 players in that little window, I think it would be great for us because we do need players to contribute immediately, and in that area, it could happen. All right. What about Teo as a linebacker? I just don't want Teo. I mean, he did a lot better at his regional pro day, which is impressive. But just the way he looked in the combine and the way he wasn't physically ready at the combine just tells me a little bit about him. It seems like he should have pushed that stuff out of his head when he was getting ready for the combine, because the combine is everything. It's everything for you when you come into the NFL. It seems like he should have pushed that stuff away from him and worked on his body. I mean, he looks soft. I mean, he looks softer than me, and I'm 40-something years old and ain't even near in football in NFL shape. I mean, not even in the same stratosphere as NFL football shape. And I looked harder than he did. He just looked soft and pudgy. So, and no, I don't want Teo. I'll be interested to watch Teo, and I'll hope for the best for Teo or whatever. But he's not a big fan. Cyprin, thank you, RVD. Jonathan Cyprin. Couldn't just lost his name. Um, Joe 4158 6 says I want to bring up two players I'm keeping an eye on in draft. Tyrann, Honey Badger Mathieu, and Landry Jones. Do you think each will make a run for the playoffs? I'm glad you brought this up because it takes me to my next point that I was telling you I wanted to talk about is the different positions. Starting at quarterback. I don't think we need to draft a quarterback. I don't think we are going to draft a quarterback. Here's why. Tony Romo's our quarterback for the next 3 years. And even if he doesn't want to play anymore, even if he's hurt or whatever, he's got to get back out there because we'll be playing him. Even if he throws 19 interceptions and his heart is broken and everything, he's got to get back out there because we're paying him. So the next 3 years, Tony Romo has to perform. Now, in order for us to get Will Allen and Justin Durant, we had to restructure Cal Orton, which was a wee bit disappointing for me because that pushes Cal Orton's money, and I think he's worth like $4 million this next year and $4 million the year after that. So if we cut him, we're gonna take a little salary cap hit on that. So we have Romo basically locked up for 3 years and Orton locked up for 2 years. So I just don't think that we can afford to draft a quarterback, put him in that third spot, because that third spot will sometimes. You remember Stephen McGee getting cut last year because we needed that roster spot for the rest of the team. So that third quarterback might not even make the team. And if you draft a quarterback and you cut him, he's going to get picked up by somebody else. So we're going to need that extra that roster spot. And then secondly, if we do draft a quarterback and have Romo and Orton, that third quarterback is not going to get many reps. He's not going to get much action. You know what I'm saying? When Romo goes down, it's going to be Orton that comes in. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be let's put the Ricky in there unless Orton just goes in and falls flat on his face. But I just don't see the need, and I don't see us grabbing a quarterback in this draft. Maybe next draft, but this draft, I think we have so many other needs right now than quarterback. I mean, we've already I hate to use screwed the pooch on the quarterback situation of not getting a replacement in here for Romo. So I think we're just gonna have to ride this thing out for a minute. Running back. DallasCowboy.com hit it perfectly. Later in the draft, get us somebody that's gonna be able to spell DeMarco Murray. I really don't worry about running back too much because that is by far the easiest position to fill in the NFL. Just get somebody to run the rock. Second easiest is wide receiver, especially when you have a quarterback like Tony Romo. So I'm really not worried about wide receiver. I'm looking forward to seeing Danny Cole. I really like his size. I really like what he can do in college and things of that sort. So I'm really looking for Danny Cole to do something for us. Dwayne Harris is one of my favorite players on the team by far. I'm looking for him to do a lot of things, and Dez I'm talking about these guys without Miles, because I don't know what we're going to get from Miles. You know, I don't know how steady we're going to get something from Miles, but I'm okay with our wide receiver situation. Maybe we can use one later in the draft. Possibly we can just get some guys that are rookie free agents there and see who can make a spot for themselves on the football team. And hopefully Raymond Radway comes back. I like Raymond Radway. Then the interior of the offensive line, we do need to address that. We need to address the Doug Free situation. Maybe we can get one of these free agents in. The offensive line is in total flux, and the whole entire world knows that we need to come in the next season with an upgraded offensive line somehow. Period. Defensive line, same as offensive line. We lost a lot of people on the defensive line, and DeMarcus Ware is not the healthiest thing in the world right now. And with him putting his arm down and his shoulder situation, it might we might need to get a defensive end pretty soon in the draft so they can put some pressure on the quarterback if something happens to DeMarcus Ware. Because if something happens to DeMarcus Ware, our pass rush is done. It's done. All we have is Spencer, and Spencer likes he likes to get close to the quarterback. He doesn't really like to get him. He likes to get close there. But Spencer would have to move over there to the Marcus side, and then we have to use Crawford or whatever over there. So and Crawford doesn't get that much push on the pass rush. So we got to address that. The interior of the defensive line, losing Brent and losing Spears and losing Kenya Coleman might hurt us or whatever, but another one of my favorite players on the team, and he's always been my favorite player on the team, is Jason Hatcher. Jason Hatcher, I really, really believe in. I believe in Ratliff's ability, my God, yes, but I'm not believing in his body right now. I need to see his body, hold up to the punishment right now before I start believing in Ratliff again. Linebacker, I think I've already went over linebacker clearly, and then cornerback, I've went over that clearly with Orlando Scandrick. That's what we have at our nickel, and then our safety situation is very, very in flux. So, saying all of that, that's a lot of work that Jerry has to do in this draft. That's a lot of work, and there's a lot of positions that he has to try to shore up, for now and for the future. So I think we need to take all that in consideration when we're looking at all these players and looking at what to do, and that's why I say I want to trade down. All right, let me go back to the comments. Big Daddy Wynn says Shango Jones is the Stepnoski of the draft. I remember when Stepnoski was drafted, and I was like, and he was just a very, very, very solid person for us, center. He ran everything. He was like an extension of Troy Aikman. You know what I'm saying? With the line, he was in control of the line and everything. So Stepnoski was far more important than people thought he was. And I think we need someone of that caliber, yes. And so me hearing that is good. I just hope he can play. Daniel brought something out of left field. What do you think about T.O. in the Pats? I hope he gets a job in NFL again. You know what? I've never been a T.O. hater because I've met T.O. And I've taken pictures with T.O. and everything. T.O. is not a bad human being. He just doesn't know how to process things before it hits his mouth. And that's when he gets in most of his trouble. So I never had any real hate for T.O. like a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans for whatever reason. But I do wish the best for him because I do think that he got some serious hate from the NFL. So I do wish the best for him. I wouldn't touch him to come here with a 10-foot pole, but to go somewhere like in New England, I would be interested to see that and see if he can keep up. But one thing I do know about him, as I said, T.O. is not in as good a shape as me. T.O. is. T.O. is in better shape than all of us put together combined. So that part you don't have to worry about T.O. He's ready. It's just if somebody will give him a chance and if he'll get some balls when that happens. Big Daddy Wynn says, I'm scared of the knees Lattimore, but he is dynamic. I say we play our hand and just be smart. Yeah, I know. But if you could get Lattimore in like the 5th or 6th round, where you were going to take another running back or whatnot, I don't know how you don't do that. The dude is a super stud. He's from my area in South Carolina. And my football team in my high school in South Carolina, we own the state. We're killers. You know what I'm saying? And you learn how to play football from when you're little, in Gaffney, South Carolina. So he went to Burns. And he's one of the few players in the state that has ripped us. I mean, they showed some of his clips on ESPN, and he was running through us at our stadium. I mean, it made me feel eerie, somebody actually running down the field in our stadium in Gaffney. But Marcus Lattimore is a true stud. And when I saw that injury, and then I saw him come back on the pro day and actually take and catch passes and run for scouts, it's like maybe he is like Adrian Peterson like, because he's that type of a horse. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's Adrian Peterson type, where his recovery is just unbelievable. RG3's like that. He's coming back from his injury at a crazy rate. So and we'll just see. We'll just see. I'm partial to South Carolina because I'm a country boy from Gaffney, and I just feel like we have some of the top talent in South Carolina. But so I'm partial in that way. But maybe Lattimore could be an option. 19 more. Uh, uh, CUTX boy says, Shango, have you heard about the leak of the Cowboys' new jersey? I didn't like it. I saw, thing has been all over Twitter and all over Facebook. I saw that jersey and I didn't like it at all. I mean, it was just too much going on there. There we go. Catch up. I was getting to that. I did not forget about you. Catch up 2011 says, I asked you on Twitter about your thoughts on the prediction for the season. I say another 8-8, 10-6 at best. I'll have a formal video, especially after training camp, because I want to go through training camp and dissect our team fully before I give an accurate prediction. But right now, I'm going with the same exact prediction as I did last year. We can be 11-5 or 5-11. We have the team to do either, but we're probably right up in the middle. That's exactly what I said last year, and that's exactly how I feel this year also. Could be 11-5, could be 5-11, probably be right there in the middle. But like I said, when I get out there in training camp and I can see how people are playing and see who's doing well and who's not doing well and seeing if we've shored up all the positions that we need to shore up, then I'll give you a more accurate assessment. I think I'm out of time now. I think it's I went to 8:25, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer these questions right now. And the video might check out or whatever on the YouTube, but the guys who are here right now, I'm gonna still answer your questions. Are you gonna make it to KC for the game? I got a barbecue and beer, and South Carolina play Arkansas that weekend too. I know for a fact I'm going to Minnesota because of her in there. She's a Minnesota fan, wifey. So we're gonna go see Dallas versus Minnesota. I'm thinking the Denver game. The Denver game I really want to see because I'm good luck when we play Peyton Manning. I like to go, and then when I go, we beat Peyton Manning. So I'll try my hardest to be at that game. So we'll see about KC. KC is another interesting team because I don't know. I know KC has a lot of studs on that football team. So it's a chance that they are a pretty good football team. So I'll be interested in that game. Yeah. So if you have some barbecue and gonna be tailgating at KC, I'll be there. NJTK1000 says, sounds like we'll probably keep Felix this year. Dunbar played nicely last year, but bet we cut Tanner. Dunbar impressed me so much in training camp. I was like, wow, who was this dude? To me, he looked better than Felix in training camp. But when the games came, he didn't really impress me that much. And I don't know if it was our blocking or whatever, but I think we should give Dunbar a clean look. But bringing Felix back just for a good price, because I have trust issues with Felix. I really do. I want to know what kind of shape he's in right now. I want to know where his head is at right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we need somebody that's going to be there for us consistently at the running back position. How about Laurent Robinson back in Dallas? I don't think he's going to be healthy enough. I think he had too many concussions or whatever. So I just think Tony Romo can make anybody a good wide receiver. So let's just work on the guys we have. The Danny Cole can do it. Maybe Cole Beasley. I'm not sure about Cole Beasley because he's tiny. But I think we can find a receiver somewhere that's going to be able to catch balls. And that's really all we need because Tony Romo will get the ball to you. DJ ATL Philly said Jonathan Cooper. I hope we get Jonathan Cooper. NJT TK1000 also says no Lawrence Robertson. That guy had 4 concussions and an ankle injury. Yeah, I don't want anyone that has that many head injuries because I want you to stop playing football and take care of your kids or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Stay here for them because if you had 4 head injuries, I don't know if you're gonna go crazy in 20 years or lose your. I don't know. If you had that many, I think that's a sign for you to hang it up, and I don't think teams should touch him. Spencer, you like that? Spencer likes to get close. I love Hatcher. Getting a defensive end in this draft will be an insurance policy with Ware's Health and Spencer. I think we have to get a defensive end in this draft. I really do because DeMarcus Ware didn't take a lot of snaps last year. He didn't take all the snaps last year at all. So we'll definitely need somebody that's going to come in there that's going to be able to spell him in passing situations and going to get some pressure on the quarterback because even with our nice corners back there, if we give a quarterback time in the pocket, just the same as we're trying to give Tony Romo, if we give a quarterback time in the pocket, he will rip us alive. And that's most of the quarterbacks, from average to elite. I think Tom D said, I think that summed up everything when you said that's a lot of work that Jerry has to do. Shouldn't be Jerry making those draft decisions. Tom D, you hit the nail on the head right there. I'm really worried right now about Jerry Jones' drafting ability because he's taken all power away from Jason Garrett, and Jason Garrett's been doing a decent job with draft. I mean, he had play calling, yeah, time management, yeah. He's having his issues, but the places that Jason Garrett has excelled at is the draft. So I'm hoping that Jerry does not take his power in the draft and give it all to Larry Lacewell and Barry Switzer or whoever his boys are. The old boy crew. I don't want the old guys to take over this draft. I would rather Jason Garrett do it. Four more comments and I'm gonna shut her down. Ches 881. I don't think jumping the gun on a safety in the first round is the best idea. I'm kind of against that too, man. I am. I'm kind of against that. In the first round is the best idea. There are plenty of caliber safeties in the draft this year. I wouldn't mind Eric Reed maybe. Hey, I wouldn't mind. I heard Eric Reed can't cover that well. Like I said, I like Elam and I like the kid from Florida International. And how did I lose his name again? Wow. Did we all forget about our team bus worth millions? Damn, you're crazy. All right. I'm going to answer this last question, then we're going to call it a day. What should we expect with that 4-3? I'm worried. And the reason why I'm worried is because that 4-3 didn't seem to work very well versus college football teams. I'm out here in Southern California, and I heard a lot about Monty Kiffin at USC, and there were some struggles with these spread offenses. So now that we have a division that has two teams, Philadelphia and Washington, that's going to be running that type of offense. I mean, Washington, we know what we're going to get with Washington and RG3, and Philadelphia is thinking about getting EJ Manuel in the draft, or if not, they still got Vic. You know what I'm saying? So, and then they got oh God, what's his name? The quarterback from Oregon. I can't think of his name right now, but they just loaded up with very athletic quarterbacks. So it's kind of worrisome because that defense is not going to be going against the defenses the offenses that it dominated against in the early years. They're not going against it. They're not going to be going against those type of offenses. They're going to be going against a different type offense. So it's really kind of scary, and especially the fact that we only have studs here and there on defense. Like if this linebacker position stud, that linebacker position stud, that end a stud, that corner's a stud, that corner's a stud, and that end's a stud, and everybody else is average to below average. So that worries me about this defense because this 3-4, it's the regular defense that people see all the time. So the players are going to have to play a little above their ability. So there it is. All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming. You got I got some more questions here. A lot of them. Okay, I'll answer these. I'll go on the video and I'll answer these videos. I hear somebody's talking about Tyson Clabo. He's 31 years old. I'm hearing a little bit of injury because I'm gonna find out what was the main reason why Atlanta cut Clabo, because you want to protect your quarterback at all means, and he didn't give up many sacks at all last year. I think he had one horrible game last year, but Clabo was not a bad right tackle in the least bit. So I'm trying to figure out exactly why Atlanta got rid of him or cutting him, other than just salary cap. If it's just salary cap, then I would be all for bringing him here. But then you have to think about his age, our youth movement. Are we going to a younger offensive line for the future or whatever? But Clabo is a definite option, a better option than most of the other guys. All right, guys. Thanks for coming by. Sorry about the bad start, but we got it going and we got it going good. And in the next couple of weeks, I'll try to implement the Skype, because I really want the Skype in by the draft time, because I want to take a lot of calls during the live show, during the draft live show. So still implementing little things in the show. And again, before we go, I want to show you my new intro, which I love. And this is how we're going to go out. All right, holla at you. Peace.
Me because I'm plugged into this NFL. I watch people. Oh, cocky. I don't hear nobody getting blamed. Everybody was equally pathetic. Me because I'm plugged.